Keshav stared at his phone. Disbelief twisted his gut. The evidence was irrefutable. Rajiv Malhotra, Ria's uncle, was the mastermind behind her kidnapping. The man who'd shed crocodile tears, who'd offered condolences, was the orchestrator of their nightmare.
The bastard.
Keshav muttered, clenching his fists. Saurabh, his face pale, looked on.
But why?
He choked out, the question echoing in the silent room. Keshav paced, his mind racing. Rajiv's motive remained shrouded in mystery. But one thing was clear. He was playing a dangerous game, and Keshav was determined to win.
We need a plan.
Saurabh said, his voice shaking. Keshav nodded grimly. They were running out of time. Rajiv was cunning, but Keshav had a few tricks up his sleeve. He wouldn't let Ria down. He wouldn't let evil triumph. He would bring her home. A message pinged on Keshav's phone. A video. His blood ran cold. The screen showed Ria, her eyes wide with terror, her hands bound. A masked man stood behind her, a menacing figure holding a gun to her head. The voice that boomed from the phone was distorted, chillingly unfamiliar. "We have your precious Ria, 24 hours, 10 crores, no police, or she dies." The video ended. Keshav felt a surge of protectiveness, a fierce determination to bring Ria back safe. Saurabh gripped Keshav's shoulder, his face etched with worry.
We need to get her out of there. What do we do?
Keshav took a deep breath.
We pay, but we do it our way.
Keshav pulled out a small black device from his desk drawer. A GPS tracker. Tiny, inconspicuous, but powerful enough to lead them to Ria.
We'll plant this in the money bag,
he said, handing it to Saurabh. Saurabh's eyes widened.
You sure about this, Keshav? What if they find it?
Keshav shook his head.
They won't. I have a plan.
He outlined his strategy, his voice low and urgent. They worked quickly, adrenaline pumping through their veins. The clock was ticking. Every second counted. Keshav knew this was a risky move, a gamble, but it was Ria's only chance. The abandoned warehouse loomed before them, an ominous silhouette against the twilight sky. Keshav's heart pounded in his chest. The ransom money, laced with the hidden tracker, felt heavy in his hands. This was it, a test of nerves, a dance with danger. He glanced at Saurabh, who sat behind the wheel, his jaw clenched tight.
Remember the plan,
Keshav said, his voice barely a whisper. Saurabh nodded, his eyes fixed on the warehouse entrance. A beat-up van screeched to a halt in front of them. Two masked men emerged. One of them grabbed the money bag from Keshav. He felt a surge of fear, but he pushed it down. They had to stay calm. They had to trust the plan. The red dot blinked on Keshav's phone screen, a beacon of hope in the darkness. The kidnappers were on the move.
They're heading east towards the old industrial complex.
Saurabh floored the gas pedal, the engine roaring in response. The car tore through the deserted streets, their headlights cutting through the night. Each tick of the clock felt like a hammer blow to Keshav's chest. They couldn't afford to lose them. Not now. Not when they were so close. Ria's life depended on their speed, their cunning, their unwavering resolve, and they wouldn't fail her. The industrial complex was a labyrinth of shadows and silence, a graveyard of forgotten machinery. Keshav and Saurabh moved with practiced stealth, their every sense on high alert. They followed the GPS signal, their hearts pounding in unison with each step. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay and danger. They found the van hidden in the shadows of a dilapidated building. Keshav could hear muffled sounds coming from inside, voices laced with menace. They were close. He exchanged a look with Saurabh, a silent understanding passing between them. It was time to end this. Keshav kicked open the door, his entry explosive and unexpected. The kidnappers, caught off guard, spun around, their eyes widening in surprise. But their shock was short-lived. They lunged for their weapons. The warehouse erupted in chaos. Fists flew, bodies collided, the air thick with the sounds of struggle and grunts of pain. Through the melee, Keshav caught a glimpse of Ria, huddled in a corner, her eyes wide with terror. He fought with renewed vigor, his every move fueled by the need to get to her, to shield her from harm. With a final decisive move, Keshav disarmed the last kidnapper. Silence descended upon the warehouse, heavy and absolute. He turned towards Ria, his heart aching at the sight of her fear-stricken face. But before he could reach her, a figure emerged from the shadows. Rajiv.
Rajiv, you?
Ria's voice was a choked whisper, a mixture of disbelief and betrayal. Rajiv's face, once composed, crumbled. I had no choice. They threatened me. Keshav stepped forward, his gaze cold and unforgiving.
You used Ria as a pawn in your dirty game.
He said, his voice laced with disgust. He untied Raya, pulling her into a protective embrace. She clung to him, her body trembling. Saurabh pulled out his phone, his fingers already dialing the emergency number. The sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder with each passing second. Justice was coming, and with it, the promise of peace. The police swarmed the warehouse, apprehending the kidnappers and Rajiv. Raya, wrapped in a blanket, watched as they were led away, her hand firmly clasped in Keshav's. The nightmare was finally over. Back home, surrounded by her family, Ria felt a surge of gratitude. She had been through hell, but she had emerged stronger, braver, and she knew, with unwavering certainty, that she was safe. Keshav and Saurabh had risked their lives for her, and for that she would be eternally grateful. They were her heroes, her saviors, and as she looked at them, she knew that their bond, forged in the crucible of danger, would last a lifetime.